This is the SG done right, dude.
I love the pickups on that.
The Sensei RA.
I've seen a lot of Reverend guitars, and I do think that is probably the coolest body type that I think they have.
Because it's a double cut that looks cool.
Yeah.
The only thing that I've changed on this guitar is I didn't like where they put the original strap button.
Oh.
It's kind of like tucked underneath it.
Yeah, huh.
And because it's like tucked underneath it, your strap
kind of rubs
against the horn.
Huh.
So when it rubs against the horn, it kind of like wore it out a little bit.
I wouldn't like that.
And I didn't like that. But full disclosure, I emailed them when I was like looking for another guitar for when Shadowbox did Thunder and Lightning.
Oh, right.
And I was like, can I play in Ohio? Like, I live in Ohio. Can I get like a artist discount? And they were like, absolutely. And gave me 30% off on this thing.
That's not bad.
That's
awesome.
really good.
That's super cool.
And then they were like, what color? And I was like, this purplish one. The purplish. And then they were like, what string gauge? And I was like, 9. And then the nut is cut for 9s, I think.
Huh.
I don't know. I've put 10s on it in E flat. It comes with locking tuners.
Nice. That's cool.
I have sanded the back of the neck a little bit.
Okay.
Just because that's a cool, like the paint job on the back of the neck.
That looks awesome.
Nobody's ever going to see it, but I like it. And
yeah, I've never seen like, I don't know, sunburst style guitars. That's common, but I've never seen a matching neck.
Matching neck and back.
That's
neck
awesome.
and back. My neck and my back. That looks, and it's got. This is. I bought it because it looked sick. It had 2 humbuckers and a. What do you call this? Tunematic style bridge.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because I am so lazy.
Yeah.
I'm so lazy. Floyd's floating stuff, not my thing. When you actually start gigging out Floyd's and floating bridges, all of a sudden you're like, ain't nobody got time for that.
They're cool if they are set up right.
Yes.
But mine is not.
I tremble mode.
It is not, and it's not been fun to play.
I tremble node my Ibanez because I was like, one of the songs had to be in drop D. And I was like, oh, that renders the guitar useless.
Yeah.
Because you can't just be like.
So my Wolfgang, it has the drop D tuna. So it's literally just a flip switch on the bridge that you just pull out and it drops to drop D.
Uh-huh.
But
or drop. Yeah. Drop
yeah. And so there's like a set screw. So you pull the
thing out.
You pull the thing out, and then you like turn the screw until the intonation at D is perfect, and then you like pop it back in, and then use the fine tuner to get it to E. And so yeah, in
work?
theory, it does
nice.
work, but I don't know. I think that there's something. I just need to get that guitar set up.
But that doesn't float.
It doesn't float. It
Yeah.
only does. So that's
goes-
like the only Floyd style bridge that I actually really like.
Those that don't float.
Right, because you can do all the dive bomb kind of stuff, but it comes back up to pitch if it's set up right.
That's
a
to be sure sentence.
Yeah,
If
like I've
it's set up
tried.
right.
Like I like trying to set up my own electrics, especially. So that guitar I've worked on a number of times. Okay, so we'll come back to this.
No, I want to.
This is another Guitar Illuminati thing that pisses me off. So I bought this guitar when I was in high school. It's a PV Wolfgang. Thing's awesome. So
That's a sick guitar.
It's a sick
That's a
guitar.
sick guitar.
Hot pickups. It's that like ivory white. It's super cool. Roasted bird's eye maple neck. Yeah, love that guitar. So, like I said, the Wolfgang Floyd Roses only do dive bombs.
But
And
you
then-
have to go like when you have a.
Oh yeah, you have to shred.
tap.
You have to
If
do all
you
the
go
tapping.
on that guitar, it might reject it. It might reject that chord.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it just lights on fire. Actually, no sound comes from it.
No
That's what.
It waits for you to start shredding for the pickups to turn on.
Yep. So
It's like,
the new ones, as far as I know, so the bridge. I could be wrong about this. this, but I feel like I remember reading about this. The bridge is actually split, so whenever you do dive bombs, it only does it on like the G, B, and E string, or maybe the D string and down, but it doesn't bend down the E or the A string. So it keeps those low strings in tune, because the idea, like, how often do you do dive bombs with your, like, low strings necessarily?
I feel like that's the coolest sounding string, though. When it goes from low to,
like really deep.
Like way too low, that's cool.
So
that's guitar witchcraft.
Yeah, so I haven't really gotten to spend much time with any of the new Wolfgangs, but I think that is something that I do. Also might be full of shit.
Might be full of shit, might be wrong.
But... So the PV ones, the original nut, right? Locking nut has the clamps, like typical Floyd Rose style.
Never owned a clampy nut.
So I am the second or third owner of this guitar, and whoever owned it before me tightened the clamp down too much to strip the metal threading on the inside of this nut. So this nut, this like metal nut,
is like ruined.
Like perfectly made for this guitar. The action when it had this nut in it was perfect. It played like butter. It was so much fun to play, but it wouldn't. Yeah, it couldn't clamp down the E or the A string. Like the other ones were fine, but that kind of like
so then that did dive bomb.
Yeah, so then those two strings would go out of tune.
Back.
Yeah, so it's like, well, then that just kind of renders it useless. Yeah. So for a long time, I just used that guitar and didn't use the Floyd Rose, and just didn't have the clamps on it. So it's like, since I'm not really using the bridge, it was essentially like a fixed bridge. So it's super cool.
I think I'm in the fixed bridge camp,
dude.
I'm gonna say something about like the Tune-o-matic style. Like, can we make these a little less sharp?
Yeah,
that's
what this has too.
I have a what you call it? I have an Ibanez with the like harmonica style bridge, and the actual, which I left in Shadowbox.
Oh,
it's the one from the '80s that I just got.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I'll bring it in, and Ibanez needs to bring that shape back because it's sick.
That is a super cool guitar.
But these are a little bit like wider, almost like the guitar sits in more.
Yeah,
and there's no like sharp points here.
Huh.
So like I don't feel like they're gonna break strings that much. But this also doesn't have that much of a downward. Like this is all the way down, and it doesn't have that much of a downward pull here.
Right.
And the neck angle is pretty minimal. It's not there, but it's not
right.
Gibson, and it's pretty straight through this way.
Huh.
This because it is still kind of SG. It was a little neck heavy when I got it, and I did chuck some weights in there. So now it's perfectly balanced.
Love that. Tire weights or like sinkers for fishing.
The tire weights are good because they have like serious heavy duty
adhesive,
and you don't want to go like.
Just hear a bunch of sinkers rattling around.
You hear like all that. It would just be decimating your electronics, right? It would be a metal thing just knocking all this stuff around.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought about the tire weights. That's a good idea.
I saw it on someone's YouTube channel, and I was like, doing that.
Yeah.
But this has volume, tone, and then their like patented bass contour switch.
Oh.
Which I have never used the tone. I'm an American. But I saw the bass contour switch, and I was like, that's cool. I will literally never use it. And then the second I got it, I did like a... Let's D-gain that. I was like, oh, that's cool, that's cool. And it kind of single coils it up, but it doesn't make a big volume drop.
That is awesome. Like, first of all, what is that sound for? What is that patch for?
Oh, this patch?
Yeah.
It's my, I'm going to play over everybody singing.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
So it's got some vibe on it and some fuzz face to give it like a Hendrixy kind of sound. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that sound. I use it in the solo for Witchy Woman.
That is awesome.
Which is not that interesting of a solo.
I love that sound, though.
Yeah.
That's a cool sound.
You gotta have... But that's not like that cool of a solo to me. And I feel like there's a lot of time where you're just going... And without
That vibe sounds
without
cool.
Without vibe, you're just looking at the audience like, oh, I wish I was wobbling more.
Yeah, I put like a big delay on it when I did it. To try to get some depth. But I like that vibe. That's a cool...
The vibe is
cool
what's
idea.
up. I also, there's another song where like at the very end, they're singing and I heard on the record, people are like kind of noodling over it. So I'm doing like...
What?
Like I'm like shredding.
What song
over
is
it.
that for?
Good Times. Nobody has noticed that I'm
Really?
just ripping arpeggios through it. Yeah, because the last
That's like such as like a just rockin', almost like 60s, early 70s kind of rock tune.
Yeah, and that whole band. I was just about to say something really mean. Yeah, that band would be actually thrilled that you said that. They would
I'm
be
sure.
stoked that they were like, yes, you get it. We're dressing like the 70s. Yeah, right? So I just do that over that with that sound because
That was cool.
that's a good sound. I try to sneak a vibe sound into every Shadowbox show.
With this, it's got like, I can make it have like flange or chorus. I try to get the flange in on something. I kind of swap this out with the phaser. When I have the phaser, I definitely try to sneak that in on something.
That's like half of the fun about live shows, like when you get notes at the end of the rehearsals to see if they're like, take that horrible sound off of
And then they don't say anything?
And then they don't say anything, like, I snuck it in. This is not being snuck in, but this is used for that one Pink song. Like that's the sound of the record.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't feel like I snuck that in. I was just like, that's what it's supposed to sound like.
Yeah.
But yes, this is the SG done right.
What's up with the pickups? Because it's like got the hot
yeah.
rails and the like magnets going on.
They are called Railhammer pickups. So they're like
Hell
half
yeah.
rails.
There's
half
a band name.
Railhammer?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you would have to do music that's like Viking metal. You would have to.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't sing about anything that's not like Odin or Ravens or Odin's Ravens.
Or
maybe,
building railroad tracks.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe like
Yeah.
straight bluegrass, like country.
with
like hillbilly
Viking twist.
Yeah, like if coal miners loved Odin. just randomly Bert like talking about getting down and dirty in the coal mines. Praise Odin. Keeping it going. That's Railhammer. But yeah, they're like kind of high output pickups. I think this is like marketed towards like metal guys.
Interesting.
I don't know. Do you think they look cool?
I do. The magnets look bigger than typical.
I think they are. Like if you chug it away.
It's a cool look, if nothing else.
They're not that hot. Maybe they are, and I have them like kind of lowered, but I don't think they're that hot.
I have mixed feelings about high output pickups. When I was younger, I was like, I gotta have hot pickups because it's gotta shred.
It's got to shred.
But like, I don't know, with that Wolfgang, if I try to do any DI sort of recording with the
so
gain
hot.
off, like the gain is all the way down, it clips. Like
bummer.
no matter what,
Bummer.
yeah, it's like the pickups are just so hot, and they're passive pickups. So like, I can't imagine.
Do you have any active guitars?
No, I have an Ibanez bass that takes a battery.
Yeah, bass feels different for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm not fundamentally against active pickups. I do know myself well enough to know that I will not change the battery, and I'll be out and about, and it'll die, as you're starting your solo in the show.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, "Who sabotaged my guitar?" And then, and then I'll be like, "Oh, it was me," but I never changed strings.
I'm
and
bad
never
enough
doing
about
basic
that with my
maintenance.
acoustic. My Taylor has,
I
it
should
takes
probably
batteries.
change the battery out on that now that we're talking about it.
I was wondering about that last weekend, or a couple weekends, whenever I
When you
subbed.
filled in for me.
I was like, is this going to go out?
I think I
during the
changed...
show? Because we played that whole Evolutionaries run.
Yeah. I think I changed the batteries out recently, but...
It's like,
I
if
changed...
it goes out.
I change my strings like the first of the month. Like I'm paying rent. Like I usually, if I'm playing a guitar at Shadowbox, I change the strings.
I need to be better about that.
I just have like a weird fear of breaking. I've never broken a string on stage.
Really?
Never. Isn't that weird?
That's
and
impressive.
I play eights. That just seems bizarre, doesn't it?
That's impressive, actually.
I've broken like fewer than 10 strings in my life.
Huh.
I've broken more strings on students of mine's guitars. Because they'll be like, they'll bring in a guitar that'll be like, "My dad found this in a monsoon. Is it okay?" And you're just like, and then like all the strings break.
Yep.
Yeah. And you're like, I don't know if this is okay.
I was teaching a couple weeks ago, and it was my last lesson, and we were working on, I don't know, some Metallica song or something. Or no, we were working on an intervals song. Do you listen to intervals?
Does your student need lessons?
He's good, dude.
Okay.
Like, we're trying to like tighten up like technique and rhythm and theory and that kind of stuff. But yeah, he's into like technical stuff, which is super cool.
I feel like when a guitar student discovers the technical stuff, you're just like, all right, let me guide you through this because there's a lot of dorks out there. And lucky for you, I'm one of those dorks.
Yeah, so I had brought my acoustic that day, so I was using one of the electrics like in the shop, and got through the entire lesson, and decided to just noodle while my student was playing, and I went up and did like a high bend and snapped the string at the end of the lesson.
Yeah. And did you just blame somebody else?
I just put it back on the wall.
five strings down. I have a.
It's like, well, I gotta go.
I'm busy.
Yeah, and nobody ever sent it. When I came back, the string was replaced, so I don't... Okay.
That's so bad.
So, yeah. Anyway.
I don't have that toxic of sweat, so like it's not like my strings get super disgusting, but after a month I feel like they don't have that snap anymore.
Yeah, I'm getting a better appreciation for, like, I used to be pretty lazy about changing strings. But since we've been doing the like Thursday through Sunday runs,
you feel how gross your strings get.
Yeah, like I replaced the strings on this at the beginning of the run, and within a few weeks I replaced them again. So it was 3 weeks ago that I put new strings on this, and I feel like they're already starting to lose their tone or lose the brightness, and they don't stay in tune.
Yeah.
So
once they die, they kind of start to fall out of tune.
Yeah. Yeah, what strings do you use?
I use kind of whatever Matt gets me.
Fair enough.
As long as they're 8s or 9s. If this has to get down tuned, I put it... This is the guitar that like lives in various tunings. Right now it's just an E, but if I need an E flat, I put 10s on this and E flat. I don't really think brands matter that much.
Yeah.
So...
I used Ernie Ball a lot when I started.
Wait, let me tell you what strings these are. D'Adarios.
Yep. That's what I got.
Yeah. These are 9s, I think.
I used Ernie Balls a lot when I was younger, but I found they would snap after like a month. And I just didn't like the feel. And so then I switched to D'Addario. And what's like their... Is it the XL? Like their normal ones?
XL's like the level up, I think.
Okay, so I used the XLs for a bit. And I didn't really have any issues with them. I tried... I don't know.
How often do you change gauges? Do you ever change gauges?
Not really.
No. You
No.
just 10?
Yeah, I have 10s across the board on my electrics. Oh, I have a Gretsch that I need some work done on it, but it has flat wound 12s. And that was like kind of designated. This
Jazz.
is going to be my jazz guitar.
You did that you had that for the Christmas show.
Yep.
That's a sick guitar.
Yeah,
that looks like a piece of furniture. That's such a sick guitar.
I know. But there's something wrong with the bridge pickup where when I flip to it, like the volume cuts in half, and it shouldn't do that. And so
hollow bodies and semi-hollow bodies, when something goes wrong with the electrics, it feels like you've thrown your guitar out.
Yeah, because you can't. Like with this, you just take the plate off.
Yeah.
You know, or a Strat, you just pop the pickguard off. With any sort of hollow body, you have to go into the guitar. And at least with an acoustic, there's a big hole on the front.
So you can stick your hand down there.
But yeah, with like the 335s or the Gretches, like, you have to go through the F-hole. You have to
get a small-handed man.
Yeah.
to dig through. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, it's not a fun spot to be in whenever you have a number of guitars that all need work.
How many guitars do you have that need work?
So
you're thinking too long about this.
I know. So my Wolfgang needs set up, because what I ended up doing was I reached out to PV to get a replacement nut. And what they sent me was the right one, but it doesn't fit as perfectly as the original. And so I've asked a couple different luthiers about it, and they're like, yeah, that's what sucks about these. Like, in order to get it to fit properly, you have to like grind down the neck.
You've got to.
Which, yeah, I know. I'm
I'm
bent out of shape about it too. And so I need that guitar worked on. My Strat, I've done a lot of work on it, so it could probably use like a once over by someone who knows what they're doing. But then I have a number of bass guitars that I got from this older guy who used to take lessons at the place where I started off as a student and then ultimately became a teacher when I moved back to Ohio. And he had some health issues, and
he just gave it to you?
Yeah, so he had health issues to the point where like the doctors gave him like 6 months to live. This was like 5 or 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. And he ended up beating, it was like brain cancer or something like that. He ended up beating it. And as part of his like physical therapy and to just kind of keep himself like mentally sharp, he was taking bass lessons. He would just go to local music shops and then find cool bass guitars that like needed work, and then he would upgrade them, like put in better pots, better electronics, and just learn how to do wiring of bass guitars. And then his thing was he would go to the open mics and then see students that he thought had potential and were serious about it and could use a better bass, and then would just give it to them. And
that's like a guardian angel.
Yeah, guy's super cool. Like
what's his name?
Kevin. Yeah, Kevin. Yeah, super nice guy. And so yeah, he was in a lesson one day, and I walked by, and he was playing this short scale Mustang bass, and
so he's also kind of a hipster.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah, big hipster.
And I was like, that's cool. It was the bassist from Cheap Trick. His signature model is a short scale Mustang bass, and I was like, that's cool. And he's like, you want to play it? Yeah. So I'm playing this thing. Anyway, I was a half step off. Damn.
It does modulate. It does modulate.
But yeah, so then he ended up gifting me that bass, and then ultimately a few other ones.
Jeez.
And which, yeah, beyond grateful for. Problem is, since he was learning how to do the electronics on them, they all need work.
They all need work. Good.
The tone sounds cool, but I just don't know how. Honestly, I could probably open them up and fix it myself.
Yeah.
I haven't done that at all, to be honest.
You haven't looked at the inside, and you're just like, it's probably a nightmare in there.
I haven't.
But if I look, I'll be scared.
I look at my Strat, and I'm like, something sounds off. Let's bust this open.
You look at a bass with one pickup, and you're like, It could be anything.
I know, like that. Yeah, yeah, right.
There's like 2 wires
There's
in
a
here.
access plate on the back. I
It
only
could be anything.
do the pick guards on the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so. Yeah,
I guess my Strat's upstairs.
that was kind of a moment of clarity that I just had actually.
That you could potentially fix your own instruments.
That I could probably just take a swing at this myself. But yeah,
No,
they sound cool.
Don't ever do that.
Yeah.
Don't ever fix that. Leave
Yeah,
it.
that's not my problem.
Kevin would want it to be broken.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, Kevin?
They are cool. Yeah, he had a couple short scale Mustang basses that he ended up gifting me,
That's awesome.
which is it's crazy. And then one of them is a like a short scale GNL bass, which is cool. It's got all these different switches, but yeah, there's weird things that happen with them.
Dude,
So
I kind of like GNLs.
GNLs are cool.
They're cool. I don't know like what their deal is. I've played a couple, and they just seem like if Fender didn't get complacent because like Leo and the other guy started a new company and they weren't done making guitars yet.
Have you
They were like guitars need to look more like cars. They need to go faster. And then they started GNL.
Have you seen do you listen to Humphreys Megiddo?
No, not really.
So Jake Sinninger, one of the guitar players for Humphreys, he plays a GNL. It's a GNL Comanche, I think.
The Comanche?
Maybe. I have no idea. But it's basically this like souped up Strat, and the pickups on it are staggered pickups. So
Like the pole pieces are staggered?
no.
Oh.
So like if you've got like a single coil, typically they're just like straight lines, right? His, it would be like 3 here and then 3 here.
Oh.
And it's like one pickup piece.
It kind of
and
looks
then
like a
it's
P-bass
like
almost?
they look like little Z's almost.
Oh, yeah.
And so all pickups are like that. And when you look at the guitar, like basically all of the real estate has magnets under it.
Uh-huh.
And so it just gets like full coverage of the
guitar.
strings, yeah,
Nice.
which is kind of cool.
The Railhammer does a P90 that's kind of like that, but it's still a humbucker shape. It'll be like, imagine like you get rid of this and you get rid of that. So it's got like a line. And then,
Oh,
like another
yeah,
line.
I've seen that
So I think
before.
it's like a dual wrapped humless P90.
Interesting.
I
That's
don't
cool.
know. I only saw that today when I was looking at Reverend's shop.
That's awesome.
Because I was like, Reverend's pretty cool. You know, the dudes at Reverend are huge. Like
Really?
they're gigantic dudes.
Are they Viking?
They are Vikings. That's why you gotta play Viking stuff. Ken Haas is like the guy who owns Music Royale. He's
Okay.
friends with Ken Haas, and he's like 6'8".
That's a big dude.
That's a big dude. And then so is Greg Koch. He's also like 6'8". They're both just like giant dudes. So when you see them playing this
Oh,
guitar,
dude.
it looks tiny.
I forgot he plays Reverend guitars.
Yeah.
Have you watched his gear demos?
Yes.
Hysterical.
He's funny. He's a
He
funny
is
dude.
hilarious.
I played one of his tellies that's like, he has a set neck telly.
That's cool.
It's cool. It's got a Bigsby on it, and I'm too lazy for that. But I tried it, and I was like, it just was huge. It was just like, maybe like you scaled up a normal guitar like 3%. You know what I mean? Like everything was just a little bit bigger. And I was
Interesting.
like, oh, I'm not 6'8".
I know Corey Wong, his signature Strat is a little bit smaller than than a regular Strat, and I think
Is the scale length smaller, or is it just like lighter? Or?
I think so. I think it's like so he did an interview with John Mayer, and they were playing each other's guitars, and John was like, "This feels a little bit small," and he was like, "Yeah, literally, it's just like shrunk down a little bit." And the Silver Sky is just a little bit
shorter.
bigger.
Oh, I thought it was like 25 inches.
The scale length might be a little bit shorter, but I think the body itself is like a little bit bigger than a normal Strat. But John Mayer's he's a tall guy.
I think if you have like a little bit longer of a horn out from the body, it balances a little bit better.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Like, if you just kind of like take all the weight and you can keep this where it is, but you move this way a little bit. I think they balance better.
Oh, okay.
Because like moving this
That
from
makes
here
sense.
to here, it started to balance better, and then I weighed it down to make it actually balance. But
Interesting.
This guitar weighs nothing, even with weights in it, because it's Carina wood. I think all their guitars are Carina, and Carina weighs absolutely nothing. Like,
That is awesome.
yeah.
I had a dream. I had another dream last night that
Where do you go with this?
I was picking up this guitar and another guitar. I think it was Matt's guitar. And
We should talk about Matt all the time.
yeah,
Because
but never have him on.
But never have him on. Matt rules. That's the man.
Yeah, it wasn't his heritage though. It was like
I love his heritage
I
so
love that
much.
guitar. That's a
It's
beautiful
like a
guitar.
335
Yeah,
by Heritage. It's the sickest guitar.
it's cool. But it wasn't his heritage. It was a different guitar. I feel like it actually looked more like your Ibanez, that like the one that you've got at the theater now.
The musician.
And I was just picking them both up, and both of them were light. And I was like, man, like your guitar is so light, but mine's not. Mine's not normally light because this thing's heavy as shit.
That thing is heavy
And
as shit.
and then I realized I was like, this isn't real. And then I woke up.
You were lucid for like a fraction of a second. You had like lucid dreaming. You're like, I'm gonna fly.
It's like this isn't.
Shucks.
Right before I took off.
Ah, whoops.
Yeah, with my light guitar.
You're like, I can do whatever I want. Oh, like come to at the last minute. Oh, shucks.
Yep.
Matt's heritage is so sick. I almost bought a strap and like the Ernie Ball strap locks he has just to play that when he's not around.
Oh yeah.
So like I could play that
Well,
for
'cause-
shows.
Okay.
Because he was like, you can use it whenever you want.
But he
I was
has
like,
his
don't
strap
tempt me
is
with a good time.
backwards because it's like the hollow body, so it's got the button here on the back, and so you'd have the strap so that
It goes straight out.
yeah. So come on.
I don't think
So
you
it's like this, right?
Yeah,
His is like this, so it turns.
a little bit.
Yeah. So that's the only thing where it's like,
Yeah, if I got my own strap for that.
what you doing, Matt?
He's taller than I am too, so like I would. I also play my guitars like
You do. You got the Angus Young thing going.
so I would raise that strap like way up.
Yeah, I did feel like Billy Joe Armstrong playing that guitar.
Like whoa, like
Way down low. I was like, I'm going to play a bunch of Green Day on this custom
And we did.
Heritage hollow body.
And we did. And we
Yeah,
did.
it was awesome. Yeah, it was great.
Were you there? Yes, you were definitely there when I was trying to quote the Jonas Brothers solo.
Yeah, that was in the holiday run.
When we do like 8 shows a week and we just start to like get goofy. And I was like, how
that
do
was
I
a lot.
put that in key?
Do you remember how to play it?
No, not at all. It was like, it was just kind of like a box. Like you can see him like fishing for the right notes. Like with out of tune bends. Oh, it sounds so bad. But I was trying to do that during like one of my solos when I'm usually like
go to the Jonas Brothers.
yeah, I was like
loosely in key.
loosely in key. Hey, they're from Jersey. Those are my dudes.
Really?
Yeah, they're from New Jersey.
Cool.
I feel like a lot of people I know have like seen them out and about at like malls and stuff, and then like cry. And that's it. They're like, "I saw the Joe Bros," and then cry.
Huh. Interesting.
They're like, yeah, they rule. I feel like family first.